Okay, greetings to you. So it's about 1:30 p.m. on Friday, July 26th, and I took today off. Um, and the thing I was going to do was dependent upon weather, and yesterday basically kiboshed that. So I already had the days off, so I figured, well, I'm going to work on the airplane. So, if you're a follower of my blog, you know that I've been doing the Airtex interior, and we continue to get closer and closer and closer to having it done. It's kind of elusive to actually get it done, it seems. There's always something, but I just wanted to talk about it. So, this airplane has not had back seats in it for probably, I bought it in January, early January of last year, and I think pretty much as soon as I got it home, I went to ripping out the interior, seats, everything, and I decided not to put the back seats back in because they were aesthetically unpleasant, and I figured I wasn't going to be flying 3 or 4 people in this thing very often, and so I just never put them in. But as far as my 2019 annual upgrades process, the upgrade portion of that is the seats, basically redoing all the seats. So I have a lot of money in them, I have a lot of time in them, I have a lot of sweat equity in them. Of course, the other part of my upgrade is to install the TrueTrack autopilot, which I own. It's sitting in a box on my floor. I'm still waiting for my mechanic to schedule me a slot. I'm hoping for late August, mid-September timeline on that. But anyway, I've been out here for about 4 hours now installing the back seats, and I wanted to show them to you. The airplane officially has back seats, and furthermore, the interior is probably 90 to 95% done. So here's what it looks like. Seats look nice. It truly looks better in person than it does on the video, I'm telling you. But I went ahead and opted for the headrests. It gives it a nice look. They're very comfortable. And here's the back seats. We've got back seats, finally. So I know Cherokee 140 is not a true four-place, but I can certainly look like one, huh? So, all kidding aside though, I could put a couple kids back here. My wife is pretty petite. I could throw her in this seat, and she could easily fit in that leg room. Feet can go up underneath the seat, and just have some shins right there. Get it done. Beats walking, right? So, but obviously I sit there, and I'm a pretty big guy. I'm 6'4", so I kind of need the most space. So I figure whoever's sitting here will probably slide the seat forward a little bit more, and then that'll leave room for whoever's in the back. But I'm telling you though, 99% of the time, I'm not going to have any back passengers, but it really does look good. I mean, I'm tickled about how good that looks. So, a little bit of background info. There's Velcro underneath these seats. If you're familiar with the Cherokee 140, you can see that there's no frame. These literally sit on a piece of plywood, which is running underneath. It forms a structure there, and I put that on top of Velcro, so you can just kind of pull them out, and they're out, and that gives you more room. And then the seat backs are bolted, but they hinge forward. So I would say in cargo mode, all I really have to do is pull those seat cushions and throw them back behind, and then I have this whole area to store stuff. So so there's a pretty good amount of room. I mean, that hat rack back there is pretty decent, and I could even store things behind the seats. So it's really not half bad as far as space goes. But it really looks good. Here's through the window, and it really looks good. So I'm happy with how it went. So why is it not 100% done? So if you look at the seat tracks, there's supposed to be some stoppers that screw into those two holes there and there, and I don't currently have them installed. The reason I don't have them installed is because of this. So you can see there's no plastic cover here, and that's because this dust cover here, that little half moon looking thing, when you put the plastic cover on, it just doesn't look right. So I have a plan for that, and I ordered some rubber. I'm actually going to put sort of like a rubber facade over that. That's my plan anyway. So in order for me to do what I intend to do with that, I've got to remove this passenger seat. And that'll cause me to have to remove those seat track locks, so I'm just going to not put them in. And then on this side, you can see that gray thing with the spring on it. That is a PL Porter Hydrolock. It's an SL 10100, I believe, is the part number. And that thing does not work. So I actually just called a company today, and I ordered a new one. I say new, it's rebuilt. And it's $275 for a rebuilt one. But they charge you $600. They hold $600 so that you will send back your core, because the reality is they don't make them anymore. And so the reason they charge so much on the cores is because if they lose all the cores, if people just throw them away, then they go out of business. Because I mean, I'm sure you can fabricate them, but they need to keep getting cores back. So the only way they can do what they do is to charge what they charge. And so basically I paid $875 to get a new one of those, which should arrive in about a week. And then once I get that, it's a pretty simple unbolt and rebolt thing. It's going to require that I pull that seat. And once I do that, I can have this handle, and I can raise and lower the height of this seat. Now I'm pretty tall, so I generally run it bottomed out. But I'm not the type of guy that is okay with having something on my airplane not work. So even though it's going to run bottomed out most of the time, if I know it doesn't work, I'm not happy with that. So I'm going to get it fixed. It's $875, but I get $600 of it back once I send that back to them. So the net's going to be $275. So it's not cheap, but it's not ridiculous either. It's the kind of thing that I will probably never have to do again. So some of the stuff I'm doing on this plane is kind of like, let's get it done so I never have to do it again, and that'll be that. So so that's what's going on there. The other thing is my mechanic went to Oshkosh this week, and I gave him instructions if he sees a good deal to pick me up a new ELT. So he did. He bought me, well, I'm going to pay him for it obviously, but he picked me up an Airtex, not to be confused with Airtex. It's an Airtex 406 ELT. And if you look inside my airplane here, if you look on that wall just to the left of the yoke, there's a wire sticking out. That's the remote switch that goes to the existing ELT, and that remote switch is broken. So I decided to go ahead and just do it all in one shot. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to have a new ELT and a new wire there as well. That was $519. I assume it'll be some labor to put it in and all that. So so that's kind of the deal. It's kind of a low priority item, but seemed like a good deal for him to pick that up at Oshkosh. So that's what's going on with the plane. So little by little, we move the football. I'm contemplating going flying. It's kind of so-so weather. It's VFR, but it's not incredibly pretty. If I went flying, I would just go basically top the airplane off. So I don't know. I'll decide in a little bit. But I do need to clean up my aftermath. And but I feel good. I feel like I did a good job putting in those rear seats. They look really good back there. The whole seat situation looks good. The carpet, all of that. So I just think about how much I've done to this plane, and I'm pretty impressed with it. So but you know, I just consider it to be never done, and that helps me. Yeah, there's always something. There's always a thing. And it's not that things are breaking constantly, it's just that it either needs to be washed, or we got this little issue that I'm watching, or this little thing that I'll eventually get to, or whatever. And that's just, I guess that's how airplane ownership is. So, so yeah, Anyway, that's all I got, but I'm going to clean this hanger up real quick. It'll take me about 20 minutes, so then depending on my mood and the weather, I will go fly for a bit, but I might even just frankly go home. So that's all I got. See you.